Hello friends, I'm Brett Thomas with the Conscious Business Coalition, and I want to welcome you to this video entitled Empowering Conscious Entrepreneurs. The purpose of the Conscious Business Coalition is simple. It is to empower conscious entrepreneurs, and that is my intention for creating this video today, and I look forward to sharing with you some really interesting frameworks and tools that I believe will indeed help empower you in your efforts as a conscious entrepreneur. The Conscious Business Coalition is an online and virtual organization with members on 5 continents. We use technology to stay connected, to empower one another, to learn together, to practice conscious business together, to implement new tools, to draw support and inspiration from one another, and so on. Our intentions for creating this video. First, to give you an opportunity to take a few moments to reflect on your goals for your conscious business venture. To get inspired about what is possible, now is a great time to start, expand, or enhance your business venture. Gain confidence by having a clear roadmap to help you on your journey while avoiding dangers along the way. Clarify your thinking about your platform and how to build or expand it. Add some powerful new tools to your Conscious Business Toolkit, along with new skills to utilize them. And help you with some pre-workshop preparation so you get the most out of the upcoming live virtual workshop and coaching sessions. Of course, these are extraordinary times that we live in, and that word extraordinary suggests both, positive and negative, of course. We live at a time where old systems are breaking down, and in many ways that's a good thing, and new systems are emerging. And we live at a time where I think that it's very easy to feel discouraged, to feel frustrated, to feel anxious, as kind of the old guard is giving way to new ways of thinking and doing things. And of course, just in time, because obviously many of the approaches to business and life that are happening are not sustainable. And so it's very easy to feel kind of negative about that, but there's also an opportunity that if we choose to give our gifts, if we choose to take what our concerns and what we believe in and give that gift to the world in the form of our vocation, in the form of our business ventures, then we can feel like we're part of the solution rather than just sitting on the sidelines, feeling discouraged. So the question that I would like to pose is, why are you here? Now, that question can be taken a couple different ways, of course. In one sense, why are you here listening to this video? What made you interested in conscious business and getting more tools and learning more? And so I want you to think about that for a second. But again, even answering the question that way draws upon the deeper question of why are you here? I believe that everybody has a gift to give, everybody has passions, and everybody has a certain sense of wanting to contribute and make the world better in some way and help those people that you love and care about. And so I want you to reflect on why are you here in that sense as well. And that provides a nice backdrop and really context for the conversation that we're having during this video. Now, I want to acknowledge, I'm no sort of idealistic, pie in the sky person. And, I've been in business a long time, and I've been a business coach for a long time. And I want to just presence the reality of the situation that, it's fair to say that business sucks. And there are many aspects of unconscious crony capitalism, exploitative business practices and capitalism that are incredibly destructive. And if you've ever worked for an employer whose main pursuit is profit and who sees other people as objects to be manipulated to accomplish their very selfish, greedy goals, then indeed you can relate to this phrase, business sucks. At the same time, it doesn't have to. It absolutely doesn't have to. You don't have to work with those people, and you don't have to be employed by those people, and you can be a part of the conscious business movement and actually have business be empowering and fun, and you're doing great things with people that you really like working with, including your customers that you're helping, and they're deeply grateful for your contribution. And so business does not have to suck. And conscious business is about showing a new way. It is about making the old system obsolete by offering a new way of doing business and a new way of relating to our vocation. What if business was a spiritual practice? If you're drawn to the Conscious Business Coalition, it's because you are awake. You have a more complex worldview. You have a world-centric morality where you do want to help others and not just your stockholders or people that share your region or your religion. So if you're watching this video, I'm sure that this idea of business as a spiritual practice is not only intriguing to you, but you may recognize that it's actually possible. And I mean, if you think about it, why not? Why can't you give your gifts, pursue your passions, better yourself in order to also help others? And why not do that as part of your vocation? It kind of makes a lot of sense when you think about it. I mean, what if we had business kung fu? What if our vocation, our career, our work sharpened us? What if it helped us become more strong, more capable, more wise? And what if it allowed us to protect our loved ones by having more resources and being able to really help and grow the things that we really care about? So that's what I'm going to propose. Conscious business, you can think of it as a spiritual practice. So what are your aspirations? Stop for a moment now and just reflect. If anything were possible, what would you like to be doing 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? What gifts do you have that you would like to contribute and help in your marketplace, help people that you would like to work with, that you would like to have as customers? In what ways would you like to create change in the world? And what does prosperity mean to you and your family and your loved ones and your stakeholders? What does that look like? So I believe that it is absolutely possible for you to accomplish many aspects of your vision. And, what I've experienced as being a conscious business coach for 2 decades now is that many people just need a little guidance. They need a better plan. They need a better map, some better strategies, some workable tactics, some helpful tools, and then some support to get there. So I would like to take just a minute to give you a little bit of context and background. I realize that some people who are watching this video are friends and colleagues and are familiar with kind of how all of this came about. And I want to welcome new friends that may not be as familiar. So I just want to take a minute. I was the co-founder along with Rand Stagen of the Stagen Leadership Academy 14 years ago. And our purpose was very simple. At that time, we were meditators and conscious practitioners and kung fu martial artists and very interested in all kinds of self-actualization things. And we were very, very much interested in spiritual practice and practitioners, and we wanted to bring spirituality into business. We wanted to raise consciousness in business. We wanted to help business become a force for good. And so we came up with the idea of starting a leadership academy to train CEOs and executives of mid-sized companies in conscious leadership so they could take their business, which was already very successful. Most of our clients are multimillionaires. They're already very successful, but how to help them become more conscious so they can turn their business into a platform to have a positive impact in the world. And of course, I've been involved with the Integral Institute for about a decade now, and that was an enormous opportunity to make a positive difference when Ken Wilber asked me to head up the Business and Leadership Center at Integral Institute, and we developed some international seminars and workshops, and we really co-created with colleagues all over the world this style of conscious leadership called Integral Leadership. And then more recently, it's about a year and a half since we started the Conscious Business Coalition. And so, as we've already talked about with the goal of empowering conscious businesses, we learned a lot in our work at the Stagen Leadership Academy. Of course, it's 14 years old now. And a couple of years ago, I told my partner, Rand, I said, for the last 12 years, I've been full-time helping successful business people be more conscious. And I said, I'm ready to make a transition where I only do that about 1 day a week, and I spend 4 days a week helping people who are already very conscious be more successful in business. So that began this transition of really helping conscious people learn some of the techniques and tools and strategies. After coaching multimillionaires and very successful entrepreneurs, CEOs, in helping them grow their businesses and help make their platform a force for good by creating a more conscious culture, by having their business be more purpose-driven. I learned a lot about what it takes to grow a business. And so what we're doing now, in a certain sense, is really taking many of those things that we learned and translating them into tools and practices, strategies and tactics that conscious people that already are motivated to have a positive impact in the world. They're not profit driven. They're not for-profit businesses. They're for-purpose businesses. And yet, of course, in order to have a positive impact, in order to be sustainable, we have to have a certain amount of economic success. And for many of my friends in the conscious culture community and in the integral community, being able to scale their positive impact in a way that is economically sustainable has eluded them. And yet that's one of the things that comes fairly easy to the successful business people that we've been working with at Stagen. And so that's a big part of what we're doing here. So now I want to invite you to think of a concept which I call a platform. Specifically, it's a platform for positive impact. By the very virtue of you being interested in this video, I know for sure that there's some positive impact that you want to have in the world and that you likely are having in the world, and you want to expand your ability to have that positive impact. That's central to the whole idea of conscious business. But the key is you must have a platform in order to build off from. And so just to use a personal example, when Rand Stagen and I wanted to help business be more of a force for good, the platform we came up with was a leadership academy. And so we spent many years developing the leadership curriculum and a business model, a relationship pipeline, and then the ability to deliver consistently, to create that platform. And as a result of that platform, we were able to have a positive impact and help business become a force for good. And some of you know that led to us getting involved with the conscious capitalism movement. It also led to me being invited to join Integral Institute as a faculty member. And ultimately, it was the basis then for me to want to create with our friends and colleagues around the world a new platform, which is the Conscious Business Coalition and now the Conscious Business Academy. So a platform is very important. Now, if you are employed, then the way that you're having a positive impact is using your employer's platform, and that's fine. If you're a writer, your platform might be publishing. If you're a coach, it might be your coaching practice. For some of you, your platform has to do with technology, but the platform is the concrete, actual processes and systems, the infrastructure, the capacity that's in place and operational and functioning. It's not just an idea in your mind. It's not a vision. A platform is something that actually operates. And while it may take some people to operate it, it still can kind of operate on an ongoing basis in a sustainable way with a appropriate amount of work to support it. So that's a platform. And what I want to encourage you to think about is, how strong is your platform? And is your platform capable of supporting the type of organization that you want to build and the type of impact that you want to have in the world? And a big part of the reason behind the strategies, tactics, and tools that we're sharing with you is to help you figure out how to build your platform. It begins with having a good map, because a good map helps you know where you are, where you're going, and how to get there. In fact, one of the big insights is that you must use a different approach at different stages of your business's growth. So one of the most empowering frameworks that people in the Conscious Business Coalition have been using is this idea of business stages of small business growth. So here's a quick overview. The incubation stage is the idea stage. It's the time it takes to develop the idea. And if you're in the incubation stage, if you haven't kind of officially started your business or your venture, that's totally fine. There's a lot of tools and a lot of ways that you can benefit from the Conscious Business Coalition. Now, once you actually do move into the startup phase, this is the time that it takes to get your business safely off the ground. And of course, it's represented by the squiggly line here. It is challenging in all kinds of ways, and there are some very specific strategies and tactics and tools that are necessary to achieve this stage successfully. Once you get through the startup stage, you move into the stable stage. I sometimes call this the plateau. This is a very important stage to really solidify and strengthen your foundation and assess any damage that was a result of moving through that exciting startup stage, and prepare before you really move into the next stage. It's very important that you assess your organizational capabilities. Do you have the right people on the bus in the right seats, as Jim Collins would say? Do you have all the resources that you need? Are the different functions of your business functioning properly? And so that's super important to establish that. And some people try to skip this stable stage and go straight into the growth stage, and that is a very dangerous thing to do. Now, the other side of the coin is we have a lot of folks in the coalition, small boutique businesses, consultancies, coaches, and just all kinds of different businesses that got their business off the ground and they stabilized, but they just kind of got stuck here on the plateau. They never really tuned their marketing or the aspects of their business that allow them to grow, which we'll talk about later. They never really tuned that and got it to the point that it could really move into a growth stage. So a lot of people are kind of just stuck. They make a decent living. They're able to maintain their business. It's sustainable at the current stage, but again, it's not really growing. So you don't have the resources that you would like to have the positive impact that you would like to have, and so on. After the stable stage comes the growth stage, and the growth stage is prosperous. Your sales and marketing is functioning. You have more customers. You're helping more people. Your revenues are growing, and so there's a certain level of prosperity. With those additional resources comes a lot of options and choices to hire your friends, to work with other organizations, and to do some really great things. It is exciting, but it's also very, very messy. Our goal here in the Conscious Business Coalition is to help people go successfully from incubation to startup to stable, and then get into the growth stage and be successful and sustainable in the growth stage, and not merely grow for growth's sake, but actually determine how fast you want to grow and in what way that you would like to grow, and really do that in a way that works for you, so that you do it in a very conscious and conscientious way and deliberate way. Now, you may already have a sense of which stage that you're at. It's somewhat intuitive, but we also do offer a small business stage assessment. It's in the toolkit available for download, and I encourage you to go through that, because what you may find that for the most part your business is in the stable stage, but there's some aspect of your business, one dimension that is kind of still in the startup phase. You might have a little bit of arrested development in one or two areas of your business, and that can really hold us back. So this small business stage assessment will help you identify those. Now you can develop what we call a growth roadmap. So in the toolkit, you will be able to look at the growth factors for that stage. So you'll look very closely at the strategies that represent the approaches you're choosing to take to achieve your purpose and long-term vision, as well as your specific goals this year. You'll look at your milestones that your business needs to complete at this stage as a prerequisite for moving to the next stage. You'll explore accelerators, the tactics that work well at that stage to grow your organizational capacity and your results more quickly. And you will make sure to be aware of the road hazards, the most common problems that businesses encounter at that stage that you're going to want to avoid. So I'm just showing you the example here. Again, it's in the download. If you're in the incubation stage, here are the strategies, milestones, accelerators, and road hazards. If you are in the startup stage, once again, here are your strategies, milestones, accelerators, and road hazards. So you'll want to study these very carefully and select the ones that make the most sense in your situation that you're going to implement. If you're in the stable stage, you'll find, again, strategies, milestones, accelerators, and road hazards in the toolkit. And then finally, if you've already moved into the growth stage, then here are the strategies that will likely serve you best, the developmental milestones that you must achieve, things that can further accelerate growth, and the common mistakes to avoid in terms of road hazards. There's also a signal light analysis tool, and this is a really handy, quick way to help you evaluate, those areas that you can move ahead confidently, as well as those areas that you should proceed with caution. And finally, in what ways are you stopped or do you feel stuck and you need help with? So all of these tools are ways to help you help yourself, and it's ways for you to be prepared for, getting help from others, business coaches, colleagues, mentors, and so on. A big part of our purpose for providing these free videos and these free tools in the Conscious Business Coalition, as well as the programs that we run in our Conscious Business Academy, is to help us increase our conscious business intelligence. And so when we do this, it expands our ability to grasp the principles that are behind successful business and helps us find leverage in unexpected places. Expanding our conscious business intelligence also helps us attract the resources we need to have the positive impact we intend. This helps us create and evolve a business model that can thrive and be sustainable. This helps us understand our customers and continually find and improve ways to serve them. Helps us benefit all of our stakeholders. And finally, helps us learn and grow through the process, ongoing, iteratively, as we approach business as a spiritual practice. So now I want to talk about capacity, your capacity to grow. And this applies both at the individual level and it applies at the organizational level. Your company, your venture, which is the sum total of you, your partners and colleagues, your team, your employees. So I'm going to take a minute to go through and summarize these 6 key capacities, and you can use the tool that's available in the toolkit to begin to evaluate your intelligence in this area, your multiple intelligence individually and organizationally, and how you can really leverage this in your own growth. So let's go through them. First, the capacity for meaning. So impact entrepreneurs start with why and draw inspiration and strength from answering the call to have a positive impact in the world. This meaning orientation attracts and keeps both team members and customers engaged over the long term. Some self-assessment questions include, have you clearly identified your company's purpose? Do your stakeholders, partners, employees, customers, vendors, and so on, resonate with that sense of meaning? What might expand this sense of meaning for you? The next capacity is the capacity for leadership. Conscious leadership is one of the 4 pillars of conscious capitalism. By understanding people's needs and motivations, conscious leaders are far better equipped to positively influence change for the greater good. Some self-assessment questions. How strong would you characterize your leadership capacity? Are your partners and team members highly engaged and motivated? Is effective leadership something you can leverage for growth, or is ineffective leadership slowing you down? The next capacity is transformational products and services. Conscious entrepreneurs create and deliver products and services that enrich the lives and transform the perspectives, experience, and capabilities of their customers. Good examples include coaching and consulting services, impactful educational programs, empowering software and tools, and information products such as online courses. If you understand a little bit about psychology and development, as many people that are conscious entrepreneurs do, we know that almost any product or service category can be transformational. A few self-assessment questions. Do your product services make a meaningful positive impact in your customers' lives? What exactly is transformed when using your products and services? How might you expand this capacity? Conventional business refers to this as marketing and sales. But again, I really think that it's much more resonant to think of it as advocacy, advocating your worldview, advocating your ideas, your more conscious approaches, and relationship building. Understanding your customer, market research, avatars, customer problems, and goals is key to success. Advocacy is the key to bringing your perspective and approaches to the world on a larger scale. Relationship building is how you find, connect, and help the people you're trying to help. Some self-assessment questions include: how well do you understand your customer? What do you believe in? What can you be an advocate for? Do you have a relationship funnel, and do you actively cultivate it? The next capacity is strategy and execution. Conscious entrepreneurs use their broader perspective to find and leverage opportunities that less aware people overlook. They prioritize their initiatives and projects to achieve maximum leverage. Success depends on careful project planning, delegation, and conscientious follow-up. Personal productivity is crucial, including focus, attention management, and task management. Some self-assessment questions for this capacity. How strong is your strategy? How effective is your execution, your project management? How is your personal productivity? Do you have a quarterly and monthly plan with prioritized projects and key tasks? And do you stay focused on the most important things each week? The last capacity is operations and finance. Operations and finance represents the health of the processes and infrastructure of your organization. This health is cultivated by thoughtful org structure, intelligent work process design, and clearly articulated team expectations. Impact entrepreneurs must manage finances diligently and have a strategy for funding growth. Some self-assessment questions: how strong is your capacity to manage your operations? How disciplined is your financial management? Are you tending to the processes and systems that your business needs to thrive? So I want you to consider these 6 dimensions and recognize that your strength, your capability in each of these dimensions at your given stage of your business is the very thing that is your potency. It determines your ability to get the results that you want and need for your business, for your stakeholders, and for the positive impact you want to have. And the key to growing a conscious business is to expand these capacities. I want you to consider that as an entrepreneur, your business is, in a certain sense, your canvas. And so, business is part science, but it's a lot of art. And entrepreneurship is a lot of having a vision and making a clear picture of that vision and enrolling others in helping you create that. And so many of you are familiar with the business model canvas and the lean canvas, and there's a number of terrific tools out there available for more conventional approaches to business that help you figure out the key aspects of your business model, your business strategy, and the different dimensions of your business. And in the coalition and in our academy, we have a variety of trainings on how to use those more conventional tools. But what we discovered was that many people found the language of those tools and some of the basic assumptions in those more conventional business model canvas tools and lean canvas tools, they experienced it as quite transactional, and I do too. So it's hard to get excited about using a tool that has kind of a transactional assumption built into it. So we developed our own version of a strategy and planning tool, and we call it the Conscious Business Canvas. And so the Conscious Business Canvas has built into it the assumptions that are more resonant with our worldview. We are for purpose first. Profits are a secondary effect of being successful, helping people. But our inspiration, our motivation as conscious people is to have a positive impact. And so carrying forward some of the best elements of the many other business model type canvas tools that are out there, we've included those. We've made sure that all the fundamentals, as best as we can tell, this is version 1.0, are incorporated, while at the same time adding things that we have found working with small conscious business owners makes a lot more sense to emphasize. So we'll start with we believe. And so what you put here is, what do you believe is happening? What is important and needed, and what action should be taken? So this is where you capture a summary of your basic worldview of what you and your organization believes. And of course, this leads very naturally to the next section, we exist to. So this is where your purpose goes. Our purpose is, we are passionate about, we use our gifts of blank to have a meaningful contribution in the form of blank. So start with why, as Simon Sinek says. This next section, we help solve. Who do you help? What problems do you help them solve? How specifically do you help them solve these problems? And so this problem orientation is very important, as we'll see later, not only for the business model, but for marketing. It's really important to be very clear about what problems you're helping solve for whom. And then that naturally builds to the next one, where we drill down even more specifically on the people. And so we call this one we love. Describe the people you most love to help. These are your ideal customers, because you don't want to try to, be all things to all people, and not all customers are ideal customers. You want to work with the customers that are most resonant with your values and your worldview and your approaches and your uniquenesses. And so here you describe your 3 to 4 primary customer avatars. You may be familiar with that term. We have a number of tools available to help you with your customer avatars. And this would include the demographics and psychographics, their values, what they care about, what's important to them. Next is our transformational products and services. Here's where you do describe your core offerings. What or how do you help your customer actually transform? How is your transformational offer unique or distinct from available transactional alternatives? We understand that there are other alternatives in the marketplace, and I'd like for you to think of that. There are other alternatives. That's good, right? It's like an ecosystem. Biodiversity is good. Well, market diversity is really good too. So the fact that there are other alternatives, and the fact that the people that you're trying to help, your customers, have other alternatives, it's very good to be informed by that, and then consider, how are you differentiating? How are you different and unique among those alternatives, which attracts your customers to you. The next section is we benefit. So here you list the top ways that you benefit your customers. These benefits must be specifically tied to the problems your customers want to solve and are willing to pay for. Very important. If you know about more conventional approaches to business and some of those other tools, then you know the idea of channels, and so again, but that's often approached in a very transactional way. So we transcend that, but we include the basic concept here under we connect. And so the question here is, where do you find and connect with those people that you love to help? How do the people that you want to help, your customer avatars, your ideal customers, how do they learn about your advocacy, going back to We Believe? How do they learn about your more conscious approaches? How do they learn about the unique benefits that you offer in terms of We Help Solve? And then finally, if they are looking to solve a problem, your customers, your potential customers, where are they searching? Where do they go to find information? And so that is, again, conventionally known as channels, and we've kind of put a conscious spin on it there. And then over here on the right is where ordinarily you would find marketing information, but we like to think of it as a relationship funnel. And so here's where you describe the levels of your relationship funnel. And of course, we have many tools and ways to support people who are optimizing their relationship funnel. In fact, we will also be releasing another video on that topic. So the relationship funnel, first at the top of the funnel is when people are exposed to your advocacy. Then they engage with you in some way. Now this would be at a free level before they exchange value in the form of monetary transaction. There's some level that they can get engaged with you. And then there's an initial value exchange that does involve a monetary transaction, and that should be low cost. There shouldn't be a big barrier there. You should make it easy for them to be able to actually come into a deeper relationship with you and actually spend money with you, which is their, exchanging their life energy value in the form of their money that they worked for in order to benefit in some way. And then below that, there is kind of the initial purchase of your core product or service, your main offering, and then there's a point where people become repeat customers, and so they continue to benefit. And then ultimately, at the bottom of the relationship funnel, you have your very best customers that you're most intimate with. And what do I mean by that? Well, these are the people that spend the most time, energy, and money with you. So these are your best customers. And so that's the relationship funnel. There's more information available about that. Moving now down to the bottom left, our operating model. So this is where, in terms of your business model and your business strategy, you describe how you operate. These are all the key activities that your business must do to thrive. What core organizational competencies can you leverage? What can you outsource or partner with others to get done? And then over here, of course, it wouldn't be a conscious business canvas if we didn't have stakeholders, either explicit or at least implied. And so it's important to list your stakeholders, all of the people that stand to benefit or be impacted positively or negatively from your operations. So of course, your customers, your supply chain or your value chain, vendors, naturally your employees, your partners, but also the environment in which you operate, the town, even the planet is a stakeholder. So this is a way to make it explicit and remember not only why you're doing this, but also how you're relating with your stakeholders. And then the very bottom, of course, is cost and revenue, which is absolutely necessary in order to have a sustainable business that grows. And so sustainable cost, you want to leverage your finite resources wisely by minimizing waste and inefficiency, and as much as possible maximizing sustainability. And in the tool that's available for download, there's some additional clarifying questions to help you really clarify that so you can articulate that and build that into your business model. And then finally, sustainable revenue. So we like to think of revenue as the fuel that your business uses to help your customers to grow more capacity and ultimately have more of a positive impact. So it's very important that you have a very effective way to have sustainable revenue. And so that's a big part of your business model. And so I hope you enjoy working with this tool and reflect on it, fill it out, and bring it to an upcoming free virtual workshop and where you can meet with coaches and get their feedback. And so now I want to just mention the virtual workshop and how you can really prepare to get the most out of the benefit of these free services offered by the Conscious Business Coalition. So in terms of preparation, what I'd like to invite you to do is review and work with the tools provided as downloads on this page. Spend a few minutes reflecting about your own goals and challenges so that you can bring them to the virtual workshop and discuss them with one of our Conscious Business coaches. Here are some reflection questions that I think will help in preparing you to get the most out of it. What stage is my business currently in? What flows easily for me, and which areas do I feel stuck in or struggle to accomplish? Which parts of my platform are in place, and which ones are still missing or underdeveloped? What would unlock growth in my business? Where might I get more leverage? What is holding me back? Here are some examples: mindsets, habits, lack of resources, lack of clarity, lack of energy. So I hope this video has been informative for you and helpful, and I know that if you use the tools that are available for download, you'll get a lot of value out of those in helping to empower you as a conscious entrepreneur, and bring your reflections and questions to the upcoming online, free, virtual Conscious Business Workshop. Thanks for taking the time to be with me today. I'm just delighted that you're involved in the Conscious Business Coalition, and I look forward to meeting you in one of our upcoming calls. Bye for now.